Okay, we're all good now.
Okay.
So, um, you have like this project or kind of like wanting to like help spiritually in tune like the one of your like partners or something like.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, well, I was reading your gig. I went over it, and I was kind of impressed by. I ain't gonna say kind of. I was impressed by the language you use, anyway, and the concepts that you seem to approach, I guess, your life with. So of course I'm a big fan of the Matrix. Uh, Big fan. I haven't seen the new one yet. I just kind of like holding off on it because it's like a treat I'm waiting for. I want to wait for that special time to have that treat. So I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna treat myself to it soon. Uh, yeah, but a lot of that is, of course, I guess we follow the same concepts about, our lives being an illusion that's presented to the senses. And the thing is, the illusion, our senses are real. You know what I mean? And the illusion, this is my belief, I'm kind of just telling you some of my background, that actually we can create this illusion to be what we want it to be, but we are under influences. So we create the illusion under an influence. So the whole thing is to break away from that influence that's causing us to create an illusion that we may not have desirable outcomes, because this illusion, at least from my perspective, the outcomes are not desirable. And so I want to change the narrative to have outcomes that not only are desirable to me, but to all mankind. I read in the Bible where it said, old men have dreams, and young men have visions. So ever since I was a young man, I always have prayed to God to give me a vision for me, my people, the nation, and the world. And I think, and God answered my prayers as far as I'm concerned. And so I have developed these plans. And now I need to move into the phase of implementation. I sent you the work I've done so far. And as you see, I don't know if you're familiar with Susus or not. I tend to think you are the type of guy who are familiar with them. Are you?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I also want to ask you, do you do network marketing?
Oh yeah, I'm on like all social media platforms, so I kind of have like the knowledge of how each one works and how to connect with people and everything.
Great. And then so also I want this to be the people I work with, the people who have some spiritual insights, because the Susus fail. I was in one, and I said it on the video, but there was a lot of people who were successful, but it usually in what they call the pyramid scheme, only the people at the top. So I tried to design one where that doesn't have to happen. For a traditional susu to work, the way or a pyramid scheme for them to work, one bring two, you'd have to use all the people in the world, and that wouldn't be enough. So we have to create an infinite loop. So in other words, we have to create infinite energy. We can't work from a finite source. We have to work from an infinite source, a source of infinity. And right now I'm in the process of attempting, and I think I can. The people, and that was kind of my disappointment today, to come up with an app that would allow us to have this infinite loop where we won't run out of people. And that's why it's bad being $1. You won't run out of people because we could just use the people infinitely. You know what I mean? And that would be an impetus to form that infinite energy that I was attempting to develop or design. And so it differs from a lot of the other susus in that respect. In the way we multiply that, turns that dollar into $4,000. And it can even go beyond that. I didn't put it all in there. I just, kind of teased it. It can even go beyond that. Having said that, we have an element of greed that might creep in, and people who are not of good intentions, and that could be just their dark energy could corrupt the system. So that's why I need spiritual people, especially leading, who are sensitive to this dark energy and how not to be tethered to it. Because right now we tethered to that dark energy, as I said before, that's influencing us because of our tethered. So we have to untether ourselves to anything, because the very meaning of being a sovereign means you are not tethered to anything. You're free to make any decisions you want to make. We're not even tethered to God like that. You know, God gives us the choice. You know what I mean? And then I don't believe there's a God who punishes you because of the choice you make. Of course, you have to deal with the choices you make, you know what I'm saying? And that's enough, you know. Way I look at it, evil destroys itself of its own nature. They don't have to do nothing to them. They're just going to destroy themselves because that's what evil does. So I'm looking for someone who could work with me to do several tasks to implement this program, which I think would be beneficial to, like I say, not only myself, my family, my people, but to help put all those who want to be on that path to, as you say, reach your higher self, because it will take understanding the higher self, or as Confucius said, the superior man. You know, so this is actually an exercise for the superior man, knowing we have to meet people where they are.
Yeah, definitely. With everything you said, like because like for the senses we have like 106 senses, but they really program like the five senses that they only mostly talk about through like manipulation and through all the illusions and programming to program the mind. And then we definitely have to like overthrow like the old paradigms to create the new paradigms with the new higher frequency of the universe and everything like that. And for like, I know what you're talking about with the pyramid schemes because I kind of like know of some of those like programs and everything like that, and kind of like scams and everything like that. But we're trying to break free from those type of things, but just like implementing well, everyone kind of connects and everyone can have like that free spirited. And then yeah, with like the coons in the system, definitely want like have like that discernment and knowing who's in here for the right reasons, using like that intuitive spirit to really recognize who's there and who's not there. And yeah, everything like that you're saying is true.
You know, okay, right? Because another little sidebar I put in, like the susu. You know, it's like come from susu. The word susu is a word on takeoff on the word esu. You know, esu papa legba, esu legba from the Ife tradition, or the Yoruba tradition. And the thing is, Papa Legba is the trickster, right? So the way, and so you meet a Legba at the crossroads, and at the crossroads is where you live truth. That's how Legba won't be able to trick you if you live in truth. So that's just something I meant to say when I'm in my introduction. I'm going to throw that in too. But so it's understanding that, you know, honesty, transparency, and openness is the key to being successful with this project. I just
Yeah.
wanted to throw that in as a sidebar.
Oh yeah, that's definitely important to have, especially with everyone's who's like connecting and heals like for the right reasons. That's definitely necessary.
Correct. People connecting for the right reasons. That's the best way to state it, you know.
Yeah, especially like nowadays with like the awakening and kind of like coming together as one and really destroy these like dark entities and these beasts and everything like that, so we can rebuild in this like new earth and everything like that. So.
Mm-hmm. So I guess my question to you is, how do you think you could fit into this? Like I said, I need a program manager because I seen you a man of many talents.
Oh,
Yeah, you know, you have a lot of your impressive talents, you know, and I was wondering, how do you think you could fit in? I could tell you some. Maybe I could tell you some of the things I need to have done, or may not have to have done. I need to have this app completed. I already have the specifications for the app. You know, I've had it spec'd out, but now I need somebody to design it or develop it based on the specifications that I have. So that's one thing I need. Perhaps I need a social media person who can like, you know, set it up, you know, through social media, you know, the posts and all that, and have the people go from from the social media page to the landing page on the website, where I then will have a landing site. Well, I don't know exactly that, but a landing site. But I need two more tabs on it, and that's a membership tab and a join us tab. And so when they come to the website from the social media page, they would come to the join us. You know what I mean? And then it would be a field that they would fill out. And this would be all. This is something that the app would do. You know, set up the SharePoint where they could do a form, and from the form, everything else could be, you know, executed. You know, they would be a part of it after they had their dollar and they brought 2 people in. Then they would get a code, and with that code, they would become a member. They would become a member, allow them membership, and they would join. You know, in this gifting flower, what they were calling it, they would join the fire. And then they would just proceed through it, you know. And they really wouldn't have to do nothing else. Just put that dollar in and keep on. They're going. They won't have to do nothing else. But they wouldn't be able to get any money out. You know, they go through an $8 column, a $64 column, $500 12 column, and when they get to the $4,000 column, you know, they'll be able to withdraw the funds, or the funds will be able to extract the funds some kind of way. The other, the 8, the 64, the 512 will go into a wallet. You know what I mean? And then again, as I say, after they complete the full cycle, they would have access to those funds.
Oh, okay.
So that has to happen. Again, that kind of might have mixed things. I'm sorry if I'm rambling.
Oh, no.
They would have to go from, and that would happen if we use social media. Now, I may not be able to have to use social media. It might not be, my preferred method would be through a warm list, you know, get people who had a warm, you know, through contacts, you know, through personal contacts, not people from social media, from, you know, from this wide universe, although that's not to be ruled out. My problem is being, well, as you know, the Susu got a really, really bad name. Now, a lot of people got burnt, you know what I mean? And if you bring up Susu to them, they might want to fight you, you know. So I was thinking maybe the best route, I don't know if the best route is to go through the warm contacts or through cold contact, you know, you know, just going through social media and then let people, you know, absorb it through social media. That would be my plan B. But my plan A would be to work through people who have personal contacts.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know I could probably do like the social media or kind of like that interaction, like marketing kind of aspects, but I don't really know how to build an app per se. I mostly do like websites and stuff, but for like specifically for the app, I'm not sure how to.
Yeah, that's kind of difficult. Well, it's not difficult. It's the same way you build a website. They basically do the same things. But
Yeah.
you know, it's basically the same way you build a website is the same way you build an app. It's a little different, but I think for the most part they're the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
but it really just really needs to be interactive where people could, you know, be able to, you know, deposit their funds and then withdraw their funds. I also would not like to be connected to without us being connected to their bank account in any way. You know what I mean? So I guess you could use PayPal, not PayPal, but what's that? Cash App. And I don't know, or even some platform like that that will allow people, you know, that layer of protection between us and their bank account. And also we can even set it up, you know, letting the people always know they security is our primary concern. That they can also ask for a separate email account, you know, because I have email accounts associated with my website. Of course, I don't know how many I have, but you can always, they would purchase them. And so they could purchase a email account that's not connected to anything else but this program.
Oh, yeah, that's smart. Kind of having like using like the like side email or like kind of like the side accounts, like either
Right.
Cash App or like Venmo or like Zelle and everything like that.
But Zeller goes straight to your bank account. So I
Oh,
had people tell me
yeah.
they don't like things, they don't use Zeller because it goes straight to their bank account, and they feel some kind of way that people can access their bank account. If I know, you know, if you allow me Zeller, then I can access somehow. I don't know how you can do it, you know, but
Oh, yeah.
you know, people are super, like they say, just because you're paranoid don't mean they ain't after you, you know. So there is that level of paranoia that is to a large extent justified, you know. So I understand that justifiable paranoia.
Yeah. They can definitely do like Cash App though.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I need somebody, if you have some knowledge of that and you can help me with the wording when I try to explain it to the people who are going to develop the app, I can send you the architecture or at least the wording around what I've just said now, because you don't really, the thing is really technical. You know, the specs are really technical, but the description part is, you know, written so layman can understand it.
Oh yeah, and I'm kind of like good with like writing and creating like stories. Like I just made like one of my book called How to Overcome Apocalyptic Events. So I'm kind of like good with like how to write things down and how to say some certain stuff.
Okay, great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can help you out with that too.
Okay. So what do you think overall?
Oh yeah, I like the concept of it, kind of like having a gathering place of just like connected souls where they can connect and meet up with one another and kind of like interact with each other. We definitely like need that nowadays.
And another aspect that you might see, my whole thing is, I am a black Pan African nationalist at heart. I'm a Garveyite, you know, and so although I'm not, this is not exclusive to black people. It just comes from black people and it's about black people. But anybody who can accept that concept can join. So I'm one person who don't, you know, I'm proud. I state my blackness as part of my identity. Of course, I'm a human being. I'm a black human being. I'm a human being, but I'm also black. And I think that our skin pigmentation is very important because it actually stops us from being irradiated. If
Oh yeah, definitely with the DNA and RNA.
Yeah, you know, with the melanin, because we would definitely get fried without it. The sun would definitely fry it. So it is very important to our for the existence of, that's how humans are able to survive under the radiation that comes from the sun. So it's definitely something that's important, not only to black people, it's important to humans. That's why I said one of my themes was black power, black lives will matter when black power will matter. So when you got power, people, you know, your sovereignty depends on your ability to assert your sovereignty. If you can't assert it, you know, nobody will observe it, you know what I mean? And then you will be subject to domination. You know, so we don't want to be dominated. We're not trying to dominate nobody, but we're not going to be dominated by nobody. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that whole thing is about. So when people are not able to dominate us, a lot of the things that are happening in the world happen because we are easily dominated. Like we used to say when we was little, people who get beat up easy get beat up often. So we have to assert ourselves from a position of power that we won't tolerate that. And this is part of the narrative that we created. Because it ain't about, you know, flexing your muscles, going out buying guns. It's just having a narrative that doesn't allow that to happen to you. You know, in other words, it's through intentionality. You know, I mean, if you don't, because anything that happens to us is because this is what we intended to happen. Nothing happens that we didn't intend to happen. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean necessarily. So anybody who's could understand why there is a need for black power, for stability in the world. You know, the world won't be stable as long as black people are as vulnerable as we are, because everybody will try to take advantage of us, and that causes disharmony and discord. So we will never have peace in the world as long as we have powerless people.
Yeah, it's like standing for something or falling for anything. And
There you go.
like for like the narrative, like our greatest weapon is our minds because we have like that intelligence and like that knowledge of spirituality.
There
So
you go. There
so
you
we
go.
don't need like those like actual weapons because we can beat them with our minds.
Right.
And
Well,
then like but like for like most like black community, like their minds is congested with all their programming and all that
right.
things
Right.
of that nature. So we just have to break that course and
Right.
that cycle in their minds first.
Right. It's like they used to say in the 60s, in the 70s anyway, free your mind and your ass will follow, you know. So it's really done by a cognitive transformation of objective reality. And this concept was, I can't, Fiora, I think that's how you pronounce his name, in the pedagogy of the oppressed. He put forth, you know, the theory of transformation of objective reality. He didn't use the term cognitive. So because of our cognitive abilities, that's what I was saying before, when we learn how to properly use our cognitive ability, you know, like the Bible say, ask what you will and it will be done. You know what I mean? So we again intentional about what we ask for. We ask the universe for. It's like I was talking to my programmer earlier, and I was telling him, trying to understand him, let him know understand the software. The software does what you tell it to do, not what you want it to do. And the universe is like that too. It does what it tells you to do. You might want this, but if you don't know how to tell the universe or say to ask, you know, you get whatever you did ask for something, and you got what you asked for, although that's not what you intended to ask for, you know. So it's like correcting our thinking, and I think this is the path. So I'm also working with some people in Africa, and I'm working with some people in Nigeria, and some people in Ghana, some people in Gambia, and Liberia, and primarily the first what I'm working with a lot of, and I guess I'm working with some people in Pakistan and India. Now I can't meet them through Fiverr, because most of the people who do the work are from those countries: Pakistan, India, Nigeria, or something like that. And there's one woman from the Cameroons too. So anyway, the people I'm working with in Liberia, the primary issue in the underdeveloped, not the developing nation, is food security. Because as you say, I think you were saying something about things that's coming in the apocalypse. You know, is one of them is going to be, like it's in the Bible, food shortages. There's going to be all type of shortages. And so this is kind of like a hedge against that, whereas we need to become self-sufficient. So this program will also lead to a thing of self-sufficiency. And we really are particularly interested in getting the funds that this is going to generate to the rural areas, you know, and to help subsidize the farmers, help them grow their own crops. So most of their food they get is imported. So you're not going. In fact, when you have the ability to grow your own food, but you importing food, and that's basically because of the way the international rules-based society is set up under United Nations, the Trade Organization, the World Trade Organization, and the World Bank. They got rules, and so the rules are all in favor of the ruling class, and that ruling class want to make sure that they maintain dominance over everybody else. It helped the rules of design to ensure they have eternal dominance.
It's like they want like the wealthy to become wealthier and then the poor to be poor, and then they trying to knock out the middle class.
Exactly. And in the meantime, they're destroying the planet. Doing that with that scheme,
Yeah.
you know, is destroying the planet, you know. So
that's why the planet is all like taken back and like kind of like rising back like against them and everything.
Right. Exactly. So not to waste too much of your time, because I know
Oh no.
We on the clock.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah, so I don't know where we go next. Do you kind of like write me a proposal of what you can do and tell me what is your, you know, what will I be financially obligated to you for, or how can we work a deal out?
Oh yeah, kind of like for what you've been saying, I kind of feel like I'll be good with like the writing like the proposals, or like kind of like writing things down and kind of having it in a way that they can understand it, but we can understand it as well. And then I feel like I could do like the social media platforms and stuff like that too.
Well, what about, editing the website? Do you think the website explains itself, or?
Oh yeah, I'll check out the website again and see what I can look at and stuff like that. What platform do you use for to build that website?
GoDaddy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I could if you take if you whatever you decide to take this on, I guess I can make you out of an administrator, and you can and also whatever else, like I said, the other things other features that a website might need. I don't really like working in GoDaddy, but it's okay. I'm used to being able to create from scratch, but to do that, you have to know how to code for the most part. And so that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm giving my application over to somebody who does the coding, who could do the technical part. Once they understand the narrative, they can put the narrative into, make the narrative come alive through technology,
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking on, and I was working with this one group from Pakistan. Again, they wrote the specs for me, But to do the implementation, they wanted too much money, and it's going to take too much time. They wanted $1,000 down and 2,000. They wanted $3,000 for the total package, $1,000 down and $2,000 upon completion, and they were going to take 2 to 3 months to do the job, the project. That's too much money and way too much time.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm looking at. So if you know anything, if you can help me with that, that's something else I need help with, to find somebody who could do. I have one person already, and I don't know how responsive he's going to be. I mean, because that's been my problem too. People are not responsive. I hear from them one day, we're supposed to do something, that I don't hear from them for 4, 5, 6 days, weeks before I hear from them again. So I want some people who understand and respect deadlines, and and there are always exceptions, what I mean, but don't totally get out of touch. I don't hear from you at all. You have an assignment, I don't know where you are on the assignment, I don't get no updates. So that's mostly what I've been dealing with, and I've been dealing with that for about 2 years. So that's why I was saying, again, that brings me to another thing about obstructions in the spirit, on the spiritual plane, on the spiritual realm, which I believe there are obstructions. Of course, this is how do they put it? The status quo always is resistant to change, but change is inevitable. But one thing to let you know that change is inevitable. So you have to be persistent. What I mean, because if you want to control the change is going to come. The question is, are you controlling the change, or the change is going to continue to control you? It's like you say, the paradigm. Are you going to direct the shift, or is you just going to go with the flow? Whatever the shift brings, that's what you're going to accept. What I mean? So again, that's what I don't want to start rambling or getting off, digressing. So I'm trying to really stay on the point of what I need from whoever's going to assist me in this project.
Oh yeah, especially for like change, it's kind of like you gotta like start doing it, and you actually like have to, instead of just like saying it, you just have to like put it in action and everything like that.
That's exactly, because now is the time for action. I think all the contemplating has been done. I think people should spend as much time as they want or as they need contemplating, but at some point you come to the paralysis of analysis. So we are in a paralysis right now. I'm in a state of paralysis that I'm really trying to break out, or break this program out of. Me too, in my personal life too, is in a state of paralysis. And so I think I got a reading that said it's like being in purgatory. So I guess in the church, in the Catholic Church, they say they pray you out of purgatory. So, so I would like this program taken out of purgatory, and that's another reason I was attracted to you. Like you said, stumbled on your page, but I think it's the law of attraction. So it's the law of attraction that drew me to you. What I mean? And then when I seen you and seen the stuff, I said I really want to talk to this guy. So that's why I was having difficulty trying to explain things to you over the typing, and I'm glad we were able to have this face to face. Because I'd have to write almost a whole thesis to
Oh
tell
yeah.
you, what I was, and I'm not that good of a wordsmith, as far as writing is concerned.
Yeah, I feel you. I can definitely do that. And then for like the law of attraction, like whatever you put out, you receive and
Yeah,
everything like that. So yeah, we can definitely like start on like the project and make sure it's running good, and kind of like connect with other like-minded beings so they can kind of like be intrigued by the program and kind of have like that oneness within everyone.
exactly. Well, you got it. You nailed it. That's what I need. So, what would it take for me to get you involved?
Oh, I don't think too much. I think I can definitely do it. Like just like writing down like proposals and writing stuff down, and kind of like helping out with like social media and aspects and stuff like that. So it shouldn't be too much.
And plus, your spiritual insight, to make sure, like you say, we connecting with the right beings.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got
Yeah.
a good community of people.
Okie dokie. All right. So, how do we do? Where do we go from here?
Um, I can send over this video, and then I can probably check out your website again, and then kind of you can like probably send me some stuff you want me to like kind of like write down, or kind of like weave quote or kind of like rephrase or anything like that. And then we can eventually like start on like the social media aspects and stuff like that.
Okay, so you think the social media aspect is, and I don't know if I need the app to get started or not, because I've been in these before and they ain't never had an app, but it can get, it's gonna get overwhelming and very quickly. You will be, I think in a matter of 13 days, we'll have like about 32,000 participants or something like that, 3,200. It might be more like 32,000, 3,200. I'll have to look at my chart again, and that's just before the first person get to the $4,000. So when the first person get to the $4,000, it has to be almost like, for him to get to the $4,000, it has to be like 3,000 people in the system, more than 3,000, 32,000, I think it is. But again, that's manageable because we are creating virtual people, so to speak.
Yeah, and then if we have like those connections already with the 32,000, and then if they connect with those people, like 2 people,
right,
and then those people connect with 2 people, then it'll just be like a massive like ripple effect.
Right, it'd be a massive ripple effect, but that ripple effect has to be managed because it'll be easy to lose track, especially if we are not letting them withdraw the money. And that could be changed. They withdraw the money and then do it again themselves, but then re-gift. So they take their gift and re-gift it all the way up to the $4,000 category. Where again, like I was saying, they don't never take the money out. It automatically goes to the next into their wallet. So that's something I have to work out with the technical people, if that's technically possible to do. Or if it's even legal. So, which brings me to another point, and that is the tyranny of the government. So the government might not smile upon this because I don't know what it'll do to the economy, or do they want people to have free money? They want to control the money supply. So if it's part of the money supply that they can't control, they might not want it to happen, and they don't have to. They could just not make it happen. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to say, they can say it's not gonna happen, and it ain't gonna happen. There ain't no law or nothing to do with nothing. They just say it's not going out. We're not gonna allow this to happen, and it's not gonna happen. So that's the type of energy we have to deal with too, the tyranny of the state. And that's why this is a sovereign project, and we have to be careful about the language we use. So we always have to use language the way sovereigns use language. We can't use language the way citizens use the language. And we have to declare that this is a sovereign act. We are sovereign. We are not under your domination. You can't force me under your domination. You can't, I only will acknowledge you need my consent to even be a sovereign over me. So if I don't consent to this, then our relationship is illegitimate. But again, they don't care about that. But again, that we write our own narrative. So again, that's why we're using our cognitive abilities to stave that off. And it's got to, and so I'm also going to need a lawyer too, one who is well versed in law, in sovereignty and what it means to be a sovereign, and can argue that case in court if they had to.
Yeah, just in case if like worst case scenario and whatnot.
Yeah, that would be worst case scenario. All that is the worst, but you have to be prepared for the worst case scenario because you don't want it to come and you ain't prepared for it. Like what they, well, like you say, hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. But you just have to be prepared for the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So I guess that was something else I would actually need. Like then you come in the advisor, in the counseling, how to be prepared for the worst case, to prepare people for the worst case scenario, then let them know it's possible. But we do have a defense against it. Like they said in Harry Potter, defense against the dark arts, So yeah, we have to be prepared to defend ourselves against the dark arts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's all around. It's a good project too.
And like I say, it's connected to some more things. I won't try to go over it all with you today, because again, like I say, I'm a Garveyite, and I'm a member of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. That was Garvey's organization. And we basically followed the principles of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. And if you don't know too much about Mr. Garvey, I can send you a good YouTube video about his documentary. I'd like to send that to you, and you can kind of look at that. And then you kind of, again, will understand a lot of where I'm coming from. You know what I mean? Again, like I said, we're not anti-white. This is just pro-black. You know what I mean? And anybody can join, as long as they, like I say, you don't have to be black just here. You know what I mean? So anybody who's hip enough to get it, you know, they can roll with the crew.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like just realizing like the fullest potential of it all, but not like centralizing it into like one group, but just like if you kind of get the knowledge, like the knowledge, and get what we're saying, then yeah, we can roll with us too.
Yeah, right, exactly. Then you can roll with us. If you get what we're saying, you know, get the knowledge, get what we're saying, you can roll with us. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's time to build like community and time to build like outside of this like matrix system. So we can like
right, exactly. We building outside the matrix, you know. Exactly. And like you say, you can't be afraid to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, definitely.
You know.
The rabbit hole definitely goes deep.
Exactly. But it's also a pot of gold.
Oh yeah,
at the bottom of the rabbit hole. So you know, if you want that gold, you got to go down the rabbit hole to get it. You know, and there are no dangers. You know, it's only a perceived danger or perceived threat. But the way I frame my existence, you know, I don't have any threats to. There are no existential threats to my eternal existence. You know, there are no threats, you know what I mean? And the only threats are the ones that you perceive. Again, that's like, I think that's higher order thinking, is what we talked about before. And not thinking with your amygdala, but with your orbital frontal lobe, with your whatever they call it. I forgot. I know it's the orbital frontal lobe, but your front brain, forebrain. So it's more doing forebrain thinking than doing lower stem brain thinking. You know what I mean? The fight or flight syndrome. So we're no longer controlled by the flight or flight. You know what I mean? We're not reacting, we're responding. So we don't react, we respond. You know what I mean? But and that's what that's why you don't have to be afraid of the rap. That's why you don't have to be afraid of any of this, because there is nothing that can harm you except what you think can harm you.
Oh yeah, definitely don't have no fear, because like that pineal, they try to like target the pineal gland and close your first eye, but
yeah, there you go.
Gonna
move
past it.
Right. And they try, they don't do it, you do it. They convince you to do it. You know what I mean? They can't do nothing to you. You know, nobody can live in your head but you. You know what I mean? And if anybody's in your head, you let them know this is a high rent district. You know what I mean? You got to pay some rent to live in this head, you know, and it ain't cheap. So yeah.